let's talk about Operation Fortune. This, by the way, this slip cover is really smudgy. But let's talk about Operation Fortune. So this is about Orson Fortune, played by, yes, Orson Fortune, played by Jason Statham. He assembles a crackpot team of essentially spies to do a heist. This is a spy film. Another one, very similar to Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's actually kind of interesting. Granted, I think Man from U.N.C.L.E. is a superior film to this movie, but like it's kind of interesting to sort of like compare these two to where like Man from U.N.C.L.E. didn't really feel like it had great action sequences, but this has like two that like one of them goes for like 20 minutes and it's actually like two action sequences put together, and the other one is 10 minutes long, and they're both in the second half. I actually think this film has a better second half than the first half. But Jason Statham as Orson Fortune has to put together a crackpot team of spies. Aubrey Plaza, Bugsy, who is a rapper, and then Josh Hartnett. They all have to team up to get this thing called I forget what they call it, but it's this sort of device that is very valuable, was stolen from some sort of intelligence agency, and is very, very important and very dangerous in the wrong hands. And our boy Jason Statham has to get it. And of course, the dude, the goat, Carly EOS from The Princess Bride, is sort of the Charlie of these Charlie Angels. And Hugh Grant's also in this film. And you want to know what? I think Aubrey Plaza, let's start with some positives. I already said that one thing about the action sequences and how I think the second half is much better than the first half. I think Aubrey Plaza is doing a really good job in this film. I know her as April Ludgate from Parks and Rec, but she has more recently, within this decade, become more associated with having a very dry sense of humor and becoming a very well-liked actress over the last few years, with stuff like White Lotus, that movie called, I think, I Hate Myself or something like that, where she like kisses her younger self. I think like she's been doing a lot of things as of late to make herself a bigger name than she was back during her Parks and Rec days. And I'm happy for her, because success means that she is becoming more famous. And honestly, I think everyone who's in Parks and Rec, or at least the main cast, I think they should be a lot more famous than they kind of are. Chris Pratt and like Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler are kind of like the main three that everybody knows, but all that entire cast was amazing. I love Parks and Rec so much. And I think Hugh Grant and Josh Hartnett actually have a really amazing chemistry together, actually. And I forgot to mention this in my The Gentleman review, but Guy Ritchie has some weird obsession with having Hugh Grant be obsessed with barbecue. You know, he's like, in The Gentleman, he's like, oh, I love a good barbie. And in this film, he's showing off his smoker, his barbecue, grill thing. And then, of course, there's Bugsy, who I also gave a compliment to. I think he's doing really good. He was in The Gentleman, and he was okay, but actually, I do think that he actually is quite good in this film. And, of course, Jason Statham is just playing Jason Statham. And that's... Oh, there's also a dude, one of the tech bros that Hugh Grant has at one of his parties. One of them looks like Elliot Page, which take that as you will. The other one kind of looks like Ryan Johnson, weirdly enough, and I think he's from that Moonfall movie. So that's interesting. They're fine. They're dude bros. They're like Silicon Valley tech bros. It's fine. This movie is, like I said, about them trying to steal a device that is very important to get their for the English government, the British government, to get their hands back onto. And I will say, overall, the villains feel a bit vague. There's like an evil spy group who are opposing the Fortune crew. They're a bit generic. The whole thing of what that is, it called the glove? I forget what they call it. This technology thing that they're having to steal, it just feels very, no, it doesn't say it anywhere on the back, I think. Just feels very like, oh, like vague, and like you learn what it is, but it just feels very vague. And like I think that this kind of feels like Six Underground, which I didn't do a video on. I tried to do a like months ago, I tried to do a Michael Bay like ranking video, but it just didn't come together. I might try to review those movies individually, which is kind of what that ranking was going to be anyways. Was just me reviewing all those movies. So whatever, you know how it is. YouTube. But no, like this is just kind of an okay movie, and it kind of feels like Six Underground, except if Michael Bay's signature mayhem and his style wasn't there. This feels like the kind of movie that Guy Ritchie should excel at making, but overall it just feels like it's kind of like okay. Although I will say Rock'n'Rolla is not a good movie, even though I would love to kind of see a TV show adaptation of that movie where it's like, okay, the pilot is like the movie and then everything else is sort of like post movie. You know, I feel like you could easily condense, because that film has very little plot, you could easily condense that movie into like a 40-minute pilot and then go. This also kind of has a sequel bait type of title or a sequel baity kind of ending, but it feels like Jason Statham could probably produce another one of these. I don't know if he is a producer on this, but like he could easily just, like, without Guy Ritchie, produce another one of these, honestly, because it's Jason Statham, and this kind of just feels like one of his movies. It doesn't necessarily feel super Ritchie-esque. Another sort of thing that isn't like a complaint or anything, but like I thought was kind of funny was, and especially back when I watched this the first time back in 2020, which is already almost 2 years ago. Oh my gosh. This year with my niece has really flown by. But Josh Hartnett, he like at one point makes like a comment, because like Orson asks Danny, who Hartnett plays, asks Danny, "Are you a patriot?" And Danny says, "Well, I don't vote Republican, if that's what you mean." That felt kind of weird to me, because like, you know, I hate it when essayists and YouTubers who need to really stay in their lane try to make everything in terms of media about politics. But honestly, I don't know, bro. Like, Guy Ritchie movies feel very right-leaning, and like, that's just my opinion. But like, as a guy who doesn't necessarily like either political party, but I love art and I love film as an art form and I love examining film, I gotta say, Ritchie's movies feel very like right-leaning. Like, they're not propaganda, and I hate it when people say something's propaganda when it's not. It's just you don't agree with its message. They're not propaganda, but they are most certainly leaning a certain direction. And that just felt like a weird little comment that maybe one of the other writers wrote. That being said, this film did horrible at the box office because it released alongside, hold on, well, actually, I clapped, but like, I can't really do the, whatever, let's clap. The same week as this film, and of course, I obviously watched this movie a little before, like, I think I got this the week it came out, and I maybe waited a week to get this one, but these came out at the same time to make way for, of course, the Covenant, because the Covenant released April of 23, this released like March of 23. It's very strange. This film was marketed horribly. It had a trailer come out back in 22. It was supposed to come out in 22, which was coincidentally the year I became a Guy Ritchie fan. This was supposed to come out back in 2022, but didn't for whatever reason. And then they sort of just dumped it out there. Now, I will say one thing that is nice about these two films is that they do have some bonus features on the Blu-ray, unlike this and Wrath of Man that has no bonus features at all. It's kind of nice, like, bonus features. I love bonus features. But yeah, this movie was just kind of like dumped out into theaters, and like it's very strange because it obviously bombed because of poor marketing and because it literally came up against this film. And that's very often, like, 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10 why a movie fails. I hate it when like on certain occasions when like a producer or a director is like blaming the audience. Like, no, it's marketing. Like, it's all about marketing. Sometimes there are other factors, obviously, to a film's failure, like going up against a much bigger film. But very often, it's just poor marketing, and I think this film had poor marketing. That being said, it's an enjoyable enough film, and I can kind of see myself, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I love taking movies on road trips. I literally, just a few months ago, replaced my old white and black, I think Philips is what the company is called, portable DVD player. I had one since like 2012. It just a few months ago pooped out on me, so I had to buy a new one, or a refurbished one from Amazon. Bought it, and I'm so happy. And I love going on road trips and taking movies with me. I'm more likely to take this one out on a road trip with me than, let's say, Rock and Rolla. So while I don't think this is a good movie, I do most certainly enjoy it more than Rock and Rolla. But that being said, we just have 4 more Guy Ritchie films to review. And also, I don't know if I said this, and actually, Ungentlemanly Warfare should be coming out, this review should be coming out later this week. So there you go. Look forward to that. I don't know if I said this, but the reason I actually have a long list of movies that I want to review this year, because, and I have one special little thing that a special little project that I want to do also, but that's because this year is my 5th year anniversary of being on YouTube. That's right. I don't know if I talked about this before, but it is my 5th year on YouTube, and I kind of want to do something special for y'all. So it's nothing too ambitious. I just have like a list of like 30 movies that I want to review this year. I think it's 34 movies that I want to review this year, and of course this is a part of that list. And I also have another little project that hopefully will be just as special as this list. But thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you if you have been a longtime subscriber, or if you are a more recent subscriber. We just hit 333, and actually we started this whole thing around my 300 subscriber mark, but I didn't make a big deal about it for some reason. I always do, but you wanna know what? We got the lucky 333, so here you go, lucky 333 special. And also, we're like 11 videos into me having 600 videos on this channel, so this is kind of like a celebration of all that. But yeah, lucky 333. I'm so happy about that. But yeah. But yes, my name has been Richardson. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to comment below, let me know what have you thought of this film and all that good stuff. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I have a behind the scenes Instagram and a Letterboxd down in the description below. And I think that's it for now. So remember that God made you special. He loves you very much. I hope you have a very lovely day. I hope you had a very lovely week. And as always, God bless y'all.